How's it going, guys? You're watching Gamer Logic and I'm Mike Murtis, and this is another I Remember special, and this time we're talking about Metal Gear and the Metal Gear Solid series. What better time to do this considering that the Metal Gear Solid HD collection just came out. It's got a couple really great games on there, Metal Gear Solid 2, 3, and Peace Walker, along with the original MSX games. It's a really great deal, but picking this up and kind of, going through the games a little bit, it really brought back all my memories, starting way back in the 80s with the original Metal Gear game, and I figured, why not do an I Remember special on this? So, going back, we're going to start with the very first Metal Gear game that was released here in North America, and that is Metal Gear on the NES. Now, my first dealings with Metal Gear was actually in one of those early tips and tricks publications, not based or authorized by Nintendo Power or Nintendo themselves. It was just like an independent publication that some writers put out, and it has screenshots and tips and tricks of various games and stuff like that. And I happened to find out about Metal Gear through that, and the whole concept really appealed to me, just like Contra did. G.I. Joe was really huge back in the 80s, and I was a big G.I. Joe kid, and the fact that I could play as an army guy, running through an enemy base, rescuing people, stuff like that, I thought it was really cool. So I was really interested in trying out the game. Well, fast forward maybe a couple of weeks or months or something like that, and I don't remember if I cleaned the house or I did something that my parents thought I should be rewarded, and I remember my dad calling my mom, and my mom was telling him what a good job I did or whatever, and he said, well, let's rent him a game. And when he came home with Metal Gear, of course. So I grabbed it from him, I thanked him, and went into my room, which I was sharing with my little brother at the time, and turned on my black and white TV. It was probably like, a 12-inch black and white TV. Turned it on, loaded it up, that title screen came up, I hit start, and what's the first sequence you get? You got a plane, and it's going over the jungle, and it's dropping off. These guys are parachuting into the jungle, and your mission begins, and this is kind of your first introduction to who Solid Snake is. And, the music starts up, and it's just kind of got that little bit of a spy theme going to it, and it's just got a very sneaky feeling to it. And you're in the jungle, and it's the middle of the night, and you walk over to the next screen, and that famous scene, I Feel Asleep, and you punch the guy out, and you're walking through more of the jungle, and you're punching out dogs, and you're punching out guards, and you're going into trucks and stuff like that. For me, it was a very cool experience. I've never played anything like that from a top-down view, let alone you were hiding from people. That was just brand new. That was a brand new concept even then, but my 5, 6, 7-year-old mind, that blew me away. And of course, you step into a truck, and then all of a sudden the truck moves, and you're in a completely different area. The communications were so cool, and the fact that you could have different weapons and card keys and talk to different people and everything. It was just a really unique game experience back then. Now, the game was very obtuse in terms of objectives and stuff like that. If you didn't have a guide, or you didn't have someone who got way further than you, like my cousin David was very knowledgeable about these games, and he knew how to get to all the secret areas, and he had all these passcodes and stuff like that. And he was great at it, but there would be times when I'd just get lost in the game, and without his help, I never wouldn't have been able to actually finish it. Another one of my really favorite memories about the Metal Gear games is the first time you rescue a prisoner. I walked in the room, was getting ready to save him, I had my handgun equipped, and it would bring up a little text box basically that would let you, say whatever the prisoner was saying. You would hit the next button to go on. Well, what I did accidentally was I actually hit the button to shoot. And this was one of the first games where if you did that, you would kill the prisoner. And I killed the prisoner. And, being little at that time, I had no idea what to think of that. I mean, here I was a good guy, I was supposed to rescue these people, and I just killed this guy. I could not believe it. And from that point onward, even now, when I played the original Metal Gear, I unequip any weapon or anything just because I'm so freaked out about potentially killing them. But kind of funny that Metal Gear actually wasn't even in this game. It's just kind of referred to. So a couple years down the line, we do have another Metal Gear game, though it's not a direct Metal Gear sequel. It's not actually considered canon by the rest of the Metal Gear universe and stuff like that. But the original Metal Gear on the NES sold so well that they decided to do a sequel to it. And the sequel that they did to it was Snake's Revenge, at least on the NES. Now, Snake's Revenge gets a lot of bad reputation, and a lot of people say, it's a fake, it's not fun. I really enjoyed Snake's Revenge. They improved on a lot of stuff in this game. The missions were cool, there were a lot more communications, there was a cast of characters, different environments and stuff that you would go in were cool, and it was a little bit hard. Probably the most frustrating in the game, of course, was some of the side-scrolling scenes that they had in this game, but overall, for a sequel, I thought it was pretty cool, and at least this one featured Metal Gear. You actually fight it at the end. You gotta blow it up with a couple missions to prevent it from launching a nuclear strike, but I thought the cover art was pretty cool to this too. And this one, I actually remember seeing in a Nintendo Power issue. I think that's actually when I first heard about it. And one of my favorite missions in this game is the ship. You're running around, you place plastic explosives to blow up the ship to destroy a whole bunch of these Metal Gear tanks that are just kind of sitting in cargo, and then you got to get out and get off on the helicopter before it's too late. Very, very cool game. So, after Solid Snake, I would assume that, that was it. There was never going to be any more Metal Gear games. Emulation started coming around. The internet started to become more popular, more accessible to people. So probably, 93, 94 maybe, I really started following the internet. And, when it comes to emulation, I really need to sit down and start looking at dates when emulation really started to come together, because my years for emulation stuff are all messed up. But Metal Gear and an actual sequel, Metal Gear 2, was released on a computer in Japan and I believe European areas, and that was the MSX. And Metal Gear actually launched first on the MSX before it was ported over to Nintendo. Now, the original Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake are actually designed by the series creator Hideo Kojima. And Kojima did not have any involvement with the NES versions of the Metal Gear games, which is why they're so different. A lot of fans don't like them. He's not a big fan of them, which is understandable. He took his baby and basically changed the whole game. Playing Metal Gear on the MSX, the first time I was actually able to play it was via an MSX emulator. And it blew my mind how different the game was structurally based compared to the NES version. I couldn't believe it. It was kind of crazy. I did not finish it. I came very close to finishing it, but I don't remember if there were just issues with the MSX emulation or if I was playing with something else at the time. But I did not finish the MSX version of it, though it is available on Metal Gear Solid 3, the extra disc if you got the enhanced version, or if you get this HD version, the two games actually come with it. They're very cool, very fun, very different. It's a shame they never came out over here, but we never saw the MSX system. So I thought that was cool. I thought it was a little bit interesting. And some years go by. PlayStation comes out. PlayStation's an awesome system. And I get my PlayStation Underground disc in the mail, because I was a part of the PlayStation Underground. And this new demo disc came in. I was going through and I was checking some stuff out. And I stop, because the trailer they have is for the Tokyo Game Show, I believe it was, for Metal Gear Solid on PlayStation. I immediately stopped and thought, holy crap, they're bringing back Metal Gear. And they launched it, and man, was that an excellent game. Metal Gear was so cool. When this came out, when the demo came out, the Japanese demo came out, I was a freshman in high school, I want to say. And man, was it fun. It basically took you through the first mission and took you through walking through the elevator, the dock, up to the elevator, and then crawling into the first ventilation shaft. And it was one of the first games I played that actually had Japanese dialogue in it, because the demo was Japanese. That I thought was really cool. That's what kind of attracted me into Japanese gaming in the first place, because the voices were so cool. They were so unique to me. I really liked the way the Japanese language sounded. but man, was this game great. It really, really sold tons of units on the PlayStation. I had friends in high school that I was getting into the game, having them check out, who weren't typically gamers, and they really liked it. Sorry, I got a kitten here that's going ape shit. But it was a great game in the fact that, you know, the stealth environments were awesome, and it really set the standard for stealth games. But man, this thing was fantastic, and all the dialogue and all the different weapons and the card keys and stuff that you could use in the environments, it was just really cool. I played this thing over and over and over and over again. And even after beating it a few times, getting the different endings and the secrets and the hidden weapons and stuff like that, I played it over and over and over again. It was great. After this, they actually did a VR mission disc, which was pretty cool. It was just strictly VR missions, as it says. It was kind of neat to do the different missions and stuff like that on here, though it didn't really have a storyline, but it was quite cool. I really enjoyed it. So after that, you know, PlayStation 2 comes out, and of course they announced that Metal Gear Solid 2 is on the way, and it's going to be fantastic, and it's going to look great. It's going to have all these wonderful graphics, and Snake is back, and he's kicking ass and all that. That was a weird year for me, 2000, 2001. I kind of lost interest in video games for a while. And I picked up the PlayStation 2 mostly because Metal Gear Solid 2, and a little bit before that, but I picked it up, I played it, and I thought, alright, this looks pretty awesome, this game looks great, this looks freaking amazing. And then I got through the tanker mission, and then it's revealed that you're going to play as Raiden throughout the rest of the game, and that was a huge turnoff for me. I stopped playing it for a few weeks, and then I picked it up again, and it turned out to be a really, really great game, even though the plot was extremely convoluted. But it was a lot of fun. I got used to them, and I thought it was a decent game, but I did not replay it as much as I replayed the original Metal Gear Solid. Of course, they came up with a special edition, if you will, which was Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance. You could play as Snake more. It had the snake tails and stuff like that. It had a hidden skateboarding game and stuff like that on there. That was pretty interesting. But again, it didn't have the long-term appeal on it. Now, I think the first time I played the special edition was on the Xbox when I picked up an Xbox. And to be absolutely honest with you, this version really kind of sucks. It has a lot of issues with it. The PlayStation 2 version is the way to go with it, though really, this is what you're getting if you pick up the Metal Gear Solid HD edition. It comes with this in there, which is just way better, period, so you want to go with that. But overall, I thought Metal Gear Solid 2 was decent, but it came nowhere close to the greatness that Metal Gear Solid had with it. Some years pass, I get really into Xbox, a big Halo fan, big first-person shooter fan, big Xbox fan. Stopped playing PlayStation 2 after a while, not playing too many PlayStation 2 games, until Metal Gear Solid 3 comes out. This was a fantastic game. I didn't purchase this right away. I actually picked it up at a Blockbuster. I rented it. As soon as I fired it up and I saw the jungle environment, the great graphics and everything, I was immediately sucked in. This is a really different take on the Metal Gear universe because it's in the 70s, and the spy theme to me was just really cool. I really liked the theme song. The boss battles were really, really fun. Just a great game overall. I especially like the fact that it had the medic system in it where you had to heal yourself, you had to disinfect cuts and stuff like that. That was really unique. It had that survival gameplay to it. And the boss battles were just fantastic for this. Excuse me. Anyway, Metal Gear Solid 3, great game. Never got a chance to actually play the online, though, unfortunately. And then we get to the reason I bought a PlayStation 3 was for Metal Gear Solid 4. Metal Gear Solid 4 sucked me in big time when I got it, but I gotta say that the most memorable thing for Metal Gear Solid for me was actually the disc install for it, the 8-minute disc install that you had to do for it. Not because it took forever, but watching Snake sit there, smoke that cigarette, and just staring at the facial features and everything he was doing, it was really appealing to me. I thought it was really cool. the introduction sequence where they got all these different channels you can flip through and everything, it was just great. And again, Metal Gear Solid 4 was tons of fun for me. I really liked the special edition, the fact it came with the Blu-ray. And Metal Gear Online was pretty fun too. Great game, really enjoyed that one as well. And then we finish it off with Peace Walker, which came out late last year, or actually early last year, I should say. This was fantastic. I was not a fan of the Metal Gear Acid and the Metal Gear Portable Ops games that came out on the PlayStation Portable. I thought they sucked pretty hard, and just didn't really like them. This came out though, and I loved it. I have put like 60 to 70 hours in this thing. It was so much fun. It was great. It was a different take on Metal Gear, but man, did it work so well on the portable game system. It was great, even without a right thumbstick. And of course, now this game is out on the Xbox 360 and the PS3 as a HD title, and you can reuse the right thumbstick, which is amazing. And unfortunately, I kind of regret that I put so much time into the PSP version now that they have the 360 and the PS3 version out, because I don't have that much interest in playing it, unfortunately. Though I do want to try the multiplayer a little bit more now. It's a little bit easier to do. So we'll have to try that out and see what I think. But overall, there's been a lot more Metal Gear games that have come out, but it's a series to me that is way fun. I really enjoy it. You know, if you haven't tried the Metal Gear Solid series at all, this Metal Gear Solid HD collection is definitely worth picking up. It's a lot of fun. It's a great price for a lot of great games, and hopefully Metal Gear Solid 1 is going to be remade. Now, people ask me, do I have any problems with the Metal Gear Solid games? And I do. It seems the more you get into them, after 2 anyways, they're harder to replay again. My issue with the HD collection, and it's not an issue with the collection itself, it's just kind of an issue with the way Kojima does his games, is they are so cutscene heavy that if you've played the game before and you're really looking for a good gameplay experience, it can sometimes be hard to get because you're usually interrupted with a cutscene every 1 to 3 minutes, and they're lengthy cutscenes. Playing Metal Gear Solid 3 last night, I found it hard to get back into again just because, you know, I have the script practically memorized for the most part. So for me, it can be hard to get into them unless you really, really, really want to play them. And I played them so much that I remember the story so well that it's just hard to pick up again, unfortunately. But if you haven't played them or you only played them a little bit, you have no excuse. Go out and get this collection. It's definitely worth it. The games look amazing again. HD looks great on them. And you even get the MSX Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, so definitely pick it up. But this has been my I Remember about the Metal Gear Solid series as well as Metal Gear. And that's all I got for now, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. Peace.